Hello and welcome to video number 2 in a series, How to Be the Best Speaker Bureau Agent in the World. My name is Ron Kaufman. I'm author of the New York Times bestselling book, Uplifting Service, and founder of the global education and consulting company called Up Your Service. In the previous video, we addressed this question, what is service? And we defined service as taking action to create value for someone else. We also noticed how many different versions of someone else there are for an agent in the speaker bureau industry. We also tackled the question, how good or bad is the service that you provide? And from someone else's point of view, we looked into the 6 levels of service. We then identified that these 6 levels are not fixed. It's an escalator, and it's always going down, making the idea of excellence a moving target. If those stairs are slipping down, excellence is taking the next step up. So service excellence is taking the next step up to create more value for someone else. Now, these 6 levels of service apply to your external customers. That's everyone in any of your client organizations. But it also applies to the work you do with your service partners. And that's people in the audiovisual, convention, and events side of any business. It's also people within the speaker bureau industry in your own bureau or other bureaus when you co-broke, as well as people on the speaker side, a keynote speaker like myself or the other people who I work with and who serve me. Now, to apply these 6 levels of service, I want to show you another principle. It's called a service transaction. And the idea that during a transaction, where there's a natural beginning, a middle, and an end, there will be a flow of perception points. Each of these perception points is when customers experience and evaluate the service that you provide. That evaluation can be done on the 6 levels of service. Let me give you an example. Have you ever called a restaurant to make a reservation for dinner? Have you ever called the restaurant and the way they handled the call was not quite what you expected? Maybe they were a bit rushed, or they were impolite, or they just didn't know the answer to the questions that you wanted to ask. And so what did you do? Did you enthusiastically go to that restaurant? Or did you say something like, I tell you what, I'll call you back, and then hang up the phone? And ultimately not go. Now, why is it that you didn't go to that restaurant? Because one of the perception points, in this case, right at the very beginning of the transaction, you experienced service at a level below what you expected. And so rather than creating value during that phone call, the person on the other end actually degraded value, damaged value, destroyed some value. And so you went somewhere else, which is a tragedy because the chef, the cook, the owner, the waiter, the hostess, the busboy, everybody else who needs customers to come to the restaurant to make a living, they don't even know it happened. Now just think inside your client organizations, how many different people are managing how many different perception points in how many different service transactions, and how important it is for every single one of those people to understand that their action is being evaluated on the 6 levels of service. Now, you can actually take this principle and put it to work. So let's put it to work in the speaker bureau industry as an agent. What happens in one of your transactions? Perhaps you get a call from a client letting you know that there's an upcoming meeting. And so you then need to find out what's the topic, what's the theme, what are the major objectives, who is the audience. Have there been previous events like this? Who were the speakers? What worked? What did not? Or it could begin with your outreach to an existing customer, inquiring with the same kind of questions about the next event that's planned. And then what happens? You put together a group of 4, 5, 6, 7 different speaker suggestions, and you send those recommendations over to the client, the meeting planner, the decision-making committee, and they do a review and an evaluation. And then what happens? They come back to you. They've shortlisted down to 2 or 3, and you're reaching out to confirm holds, and you're going back to the client again. All of these actions are perception points throughout this transaction. And then they've made their selection. And so now new perception points begin. The contracting, the confirmation, both with the client and with the speaker's office. Ultimately, there's coordination of logistics and there's travel details. There's that all-important client pre-call, which, by the way, I'll always be happy to get on with you with any client or any prospect anytime. Why? Because that action creates more value for your client and for you. Now, once the event actually occurs, the transaction is not complete, or you could say it's the beginning of a whole nother transaction. There's the follow-up. There's the follow-through, hearing the feedback, getting the testimonial, seeking the recommendations, closing the loop. For those of you who've worked with me, you know that there is an important part of how we close the loop with a very nice thank you gift, because we genuinely appreciate the privilege of working with you, and we'd like to start another loop of transaction so that we can all do it again. So now you can see that you've got 6 levels of service operating at each of the perception points in every transaction, and you could actually put this to work in the bureau industry today. Let me show you another way that you can add more value, create a better service experience, and genuinely become the best speaker bureau agent in the world. This is something called the 4 categories of value. When you hear people talk about improving customer experience, this is what they mean. Let's take a closer look. The primary product in any industry is why that industry exists. Automotive, it's going to be a car. Insurance, it's going to be a policy. In hospitals, it's going to be medical treatment. Primary product. In your case, it's the speakers that you know, the topics that they deliver, the quality of their presentation, their ability to customize based upon your gathered information, and their ability to understand major trends and topics within the client organization. The second category of value is not the product itself. It's the delivery systems that you use to get your speaker to the event and get the client to select the right speaker. So this is websites, this is email, this is telephone calls, this is document delivery. This is everything that you use that should be easy, convenient, user-friendly, fast. The third category is service mindset. And this is the actual personal experience somebody has with another person. It's the smile, it's the care, the concern, the patience, and the commitment. And the fourth category is called ongoing relationship. Do clients experience you as an agent that's just looking on a transactional basis to close a deal and earn a commission? Or do they genuinely experience you as somebody who cares about where their business has been, where it's going, and what they need to get forward into the future? Do they feel that in working with you, like you care about their success, not only on this project, but in their career for the years to come? When you take these 4 categories of value and you take a look at them through the 6 levels of service, remembering that the stairs are always slipping down, and remembering that it is a competitive world in the speaker bureau industry, then you can really focus and answer the question, where is my next opportunity to take a step up and create more value? Where can our bureau work together to step up and share and learn with each other, so that the reputation for service excellence that we generate is associated with your bureau, is associated with you as a bureau agent? You can visit my website at ronkaufman.com/bureau, where you will find a whole range of materials, all of them bureau friendly, so that you can easily share them with your clients. The first video in this series was Ron Kaufman on service excellence in the speaker bureau industry. This video is how you can be the best speaker bureau agent in the world. Join me for video number 3. 3 personal things about Ron Kaufman you didn't know, but I think you'll be glad to learn.